Good evening and welcome to The Facts. I'm your host, Tom Kimball, on this Sunday evening. So, first thing I want to get into is the state of the Patriots. Obviously, recently they've had some major shakeups in this offseason. The most recent being Brandon Cooks being traded to the LA Rams. Essentially, there was a 4th and a 6th round pick involved. Essentially, the good stuff, right? We got 2 first-round picks. We got Cook swapped for the first-round pick of the LA Rams. That is pick number 23. If you remember correctly, the Patriots traded pick 32 to get Cooks last year. So already, I'm happy with the deal. You get a better pick back. You basically got to use Cooks on a 1-year rental, and you don't have to pay him the big-term contract he's going to require after this year. And it's better to trade him now than at the end of the season because he's going to be a free agent. They know we're not going to pay him, so they're not going to make a good offer for him, right? So, like I said, I love this trade. Gain some draft position, you save money, but the concern is that right now Amendola's gone, Solder's gone, Dion Lewis is gone, Malcolm Butler's gone, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. Of course, that happened in the season, but he's still gone. I'm just a little bit surprised that people are shocked and that this is the demise of the Patriots. Well, no. If you remember correctly, excluding 2014 and 2016, right, where they went out, last year they signed Gilmore. That was the big splash in free agency. And, of course, they acquired Cooks via trade. And then in 2014, you had Revis Island, Brandon Browner. And other than those 2 years, this is what we always do. We always trade players a year too early rather than a year too late. And this has been going on now. Belichick and Brady have been in New England now for 18 years, so to think that people are surprised now just because we've had 2 seasons, and granted, both moves worked out great, right? Revis and Browner worked out great, adding Gilmore last year, and Cooks worked out almost amazing. I mean, we didn't win the big prize, but they were good moves, right? So I guess people are a little bit disappointed they didn't keep that trend going. And I guess it's fun. I mean, you can ask the 2012 Philadelphia Eagles, who were 2012 or 2011 Philadelphia Eagles, who won the offseason and ultimately I think went like 4-12, where they had that Vince Young dream team. It'll be interesting to see what the Rams do this year now, seeing they are the clear-cut winner of free agency. They got a lot of egos now in that locker room between Sue, Peters, and Aqib Talib. Lots of drama, I think, is going to come. Now, I do think that McVay is a good enough coach. I don't want to say he's on Belichick's level by any means, but he's one of those types of coaches where you think he can control that locker room. It's possible. Aqib and Marcus Peters and Ndamukong Suh, those are some tough personalities, though, I'm not going to lie. The real question is not really why are we making all these moves. It's what are we doing with those draft picks, right? So, 2 first-rounders we have this year. Currently, we have the 23rd, which we acquired from that Cooks trade, like I just said. We also have the 31st pick from, of course, we don't like to talk about it, but Philly does have the 32nd pick. I'm not talking about it. 31st pick as well. Also have 2 second-rounders and a 3rd-rounder. Those are 5 picks within the top 95, I believe. So the biggest speculation on the market right now is, what are the Patriots going to do? The first big rumor was, they now have 2 first-round picks. They can go after Odell Beckham. Because that was supposedly, if the Giants were shopping Beckham, that's what they would have wanted. Now, my biggest thing with this is, of course, the Giants aren't going to do that deal. Like, when they said they wanted 2 first-round picks, they were probably leaning more towards, like, 1 top 10 pick and maybe a top 20 pick. They don't want 2 bottom-of-the-barrel first-round draft picks. Once you get past, I believe it's pick number 20, only about 50% of those remaining 12 players in the first round either make the roster or start a game. So your odds aren't very high after that point. So I really think when they said that they were aiming way more towards the top 20, at least having one of them in there, never mind not having either of them in there. So the Giants wouldn't allow that to begin with. Second of all, Belichick's not going to do that to begin with. I feel like Belichick's at the point in his career where, and he's earned this right, to be sort of, I want to work with the players that I want to work with. I don't want to work with head cases. I don't blame him. He had that stage in his career where he was willing to take on more projects. And I don't blame him for not wanting to deal with that anymore. Granted, Odell Beckham's a tremendous talent and can bring a lot to New England. Yes, I agree with that. But I don't think he's worth the trouble or the picks for that matter. Now, granted, Belichick doesn't do so phenomenal drafting receivers. Between, I think he chose Aaron Dobson and over Keenan Allen. That was a tough one. To think that, you look at somebody who's really had a great success drafting receivers, it'd probably be Pittsburgh, right? You had Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Martavis Bryant. We need to hire their wide receiving scouts. That's what we need to do. Anyway, back on the topic. They did sign Jordan Matthews, who I think is somebody who can fill in. He plays his slot. He plays slot. That's his natural role. And Brady does like to preferably stay short, so I don't mind him. Sure, he drops passes here and there. I don't think he'll nearly have the trust in Matthews that he does in Danny, but I think Jordan Matthews seems like a hardworking kid. Jerry Rice's nephew, I believe. So if he can have even just a smidge of Jerry Rice's work ethic, that'd be nice. And I think that him and Brady will mesh well enough to exist, and I think he'll make a difference. He'll probably have, 40, 45 catches on the season. Now, going back to those two picks in the first round, 23 and 31. I think they go left tackle at 23. Like I said, I don't think that there's going to be any. The other speculation is, what if they trade up with using some of those picks and they go get a quarterback? No. When has Belichick ever done anything like that, ever? When? Like, you look at his history of drafting quarterbacks. It's rounds typically 2 through 5 or 2 through 6, even 2 through 7, but primarily he likes to stay in rounds 3 to 5, I would say, to narrow it down a little bit more, between Ryan Mallett, Zach Mettenberger. I think, was it Mettenberger or the Titans take him? I don't remember if they had him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Regardless, he takes quarterbacks late in drafts. Jimmy G was a second-round pick. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. There was a horrible quarterback, Kevin O'Connell from 2008. I think he went in one of those mid-rounds as well. Typically, they don't work out. We've had a lot of quarterbacks from the Patriots who are backups. Of course, Hoyer's now back where they go branch outside New England. Mallett was one of them. Hoyer was one of them. Of course, Jimmy's out there now. As much as I would love to see him go up and get a quarterback in this draft because it's so quarterback heavy, it's not going to happen. Belichick's history does not suggest that. So that being said, like I said, I think they go tackle at 23. They're going to stay where they are right there. They really need a left tackle. So I think they go get one with pick 23. I think pick 31's tough. If there's one thing I know about Belichick, trading he does like to do with his picks is trade back. So I'm going to gamble on pick 31 that they end up trading that back, maybe get like a 2 and a 5 if they can from somebody who's in this maybe mid-second round that wants a first-round pick. I think maybe they'll try to give up like maybe a 2 and a 4 or a 2 and a 5 to get back into the first round if they see somebody they like. If they decide we're not going to trade it or the value's not there, I think that Belichick goes with a corner, seeing that we just lost Malcolm Butler. And as you could tell, Eric Rowe is not going to cut it. I'm sorry. Corner is one of the biggest needs, really the whole defense, right? Other than left tackle, everywhere else needs to be defense and one backup quarterback. So that's why I think Belichick's going to trade back because he's typically relatively good at finding people in the mid-tier rounds who can fill roles. So whether that be corner, D lineman, inside linebacker. Of course, we got Hightower coming back. He kind of varies. I think he plays more outside than he does inside now, so I hope they get an inside linebacker. And you really need an outside linebacker to replace Hightower because he's almost never on the field. He's one of those injury-prone players, which sucks because he makes such a freaking difference when he's on the field. The saddest thing is I think that everybody's going to forget about all these conversations because you're seeing everywhere, everybody's leaving New England, the Instagram sub-posts and the sub-comments, and Brady loves Malcolm and all this other stuff. I think everybody's going to kind of forget that as the Patriots probably coast to 11-5, 12-4 again, are right in the AFC Championship, and it went from, the demise of the Patriots back to the reality that we all knew and some of us loved and some of us hated, to think that I know the dynasty is going to come to an end. I still think we have another year or two, though. I don't think the demise is just yet. So with that being said, I am going to get to NBA. We're going to end it on that topic. Stay tuned with me. I'm your host, Tom Kimball. This is The Facts.